This film tells the story of a Siberian tiger and a hunter who have a bond with each other. In 1915 in Korea, a hunter named Manduk is hunting in winter. He has a son named Suki who is expected to be a successor one day, and that's why he always teaches him how to hunt. At that time, Koreans lived in poverty and starvation due to Japanese colonialism, so most people worked as hunters to survive. That day, Manduk is ready to go hunting because he knows that the food they have has run out and there's only food left for his wife. He only asks for water for his hunting supplies in the coming days and promises to return with the game. Manduk is the most famous hunter in Korea because he is an expert in hunting. He hunts any animal, including wild animals like tigers, which are very expensive to sell to Japanese officials. Even so, Manduk has principles and rules when hunting in which he never sets traps to catch his prey and only kills adult game. He did not take advantage of the opportunity blindly by killing the cubs whose mothers he managed to hunt. He fires several shots into the sky to lure them out of their nest. The tiger finally comes out to pounce on him, but Manduk manages to kill her first. The scene continues 10 years later in 1925 in the room of a Japanese officer. The officer's name is not mentioned in this film, so we will call him Major Naruto. That day, Naruto receives a special gift brought by the soldiers from Hamgyong Island in the form of a tiger's skin, but he refuses the gift because it is only a small tiger. Major Naruto is really obsessed with tigers, especially the Siberian tiger, which is the largest tiger species. Naruto tells his subordinate named Lieutenant Ryu about a mysterious case, in which he received a report that a detachment of Japanese troops sent to capture the rebels on Mount Yuri mysteriously disappeared, and they were found 1 month later in a pathetic condition. Therefore, Naruto orders Ryu to handle the case because there is a rumor that the soldiers were killed by the king of the Yuri mountain. Then, Lieutenant Ryu invites Manduk to his office and asks for help in capturing the beast that had killed the Japanese soldiers, but Manduk refuses to help him and says that he is retired as a hunter. Manduk's life is ruined after an incident in which he accidentally kills his own wife. So, one day while he was hunting with other hunters, the tiger they were hunting escaped to the village after killing some people. Manduk didn't know that at the same time his wife was looking for food there. The tiger managed to trick Manduk so that he opened fire and accidentally killed his wife. He thought that he had killed the tiger, but it turned out that his shot actually hit his own wife, who was looking for bamboo sprouts. That's why Manduk decided to retire as a hunter. The incident always overshadows and haunts his life. He still lives in the mountains with his son even though his wife has died. Suki is now an adult and has a girlfriend, but his girlfriend tells him that her parents have arranged a marriage with another man because they don't want her to marry Suki, who is poor. Meanwhile, the hunter team that used to be led by Manduk is now led by a hunter named Gyeong. Gyeong himself is a hunter who has no ethics in hunting, where he always uses a trap that makes the animal tormented first and also kills the cubs. Gyeong and his friends do not realize that what they are doing has made the king of the Yuri Mountains angry because they killed his family. The tiger tries to chase them, but he gets stuck on a steep cliff. Even though Gyeong manages to catch 3 tigers, Ryu is still dissatisfied because the tiger that is called the king of the Yuri Mountains has not been caught. The tiger is also known as the one-eyed dragon because he has had only one eye since birth and weighed an estimated 1 ton. Gyeong and his friends prepare for the next hunt to catch the tiger. A hunter named Chilgo disagrees with Gyeong's way of hunting, but Gyeong says that they are all forced to do all this just to get food and rewards from the Japanese. After finding the right location, Gyeong orders his friends to set traps and bait to lure the tiger into the trap. They decide to wait until night to come back and check the trap. They don't realize that the tiger is watching them from the bushes. When night falls, Suki begins telling his father about the news of the capture of 3 tigers. He tries to persuade his father to join the hunt because the Japanese promised such a huge reward that would make them rich. Suki is sure that they will be able to get the reward because they know where the tiger's nest is, but it makes Manduk angry and tells Suki to sleep. Meanwhile, Gyeong and his friends finally hear something from their trap. They are sure their plan worked and immediately move to check the trap. It turns out to be just a pack of wolves, while the tiger managed to escape, and what is more surprising is that the tiger was able to take the body of his cub, which was used as bait. Chilgo says that they have to give up catching the animal and not bother him anymore. But Gyeong has a personal grudge against the tiger because he killed his wife and caused his face to become what it is now. Gyeong thinks the only way to catch him is to ask for help from Manduk, even though it won't be easy to persuade him. On the following day, Gyeong and his friends come to see Manduk to ask for his help. Gyeong begs him to tell them about the tiger's nest if he will not join them. Manduk refuses and warns them to stop the hunting because winter has come. Although Gyeong keeps insisting and reveals that this hunt is revenge for their wife's death, Manduk refuses to tell them about the tiger's nest and asks them to leave. At the same time, other hunters tell Suki that the tiger they are hunting is very expensive, which will make them rich and allow them to have a nice house. Suki is influenced by the words of the hunters, so he tells his father that he will join the hunt with the hunters so that he can become rich because he doesn't want to live in poverty all the time and live in the mountains. Manduk will never allow it because he doesn't want anything bad to happen to his son, but Manduk forbids him in a rude way by slapping him. Suki is very disappointed with his father and says that if he had known about his mother's death, even though Manduk never told him about it. When Manduk goes to his friend's store, he gets information from him that Suki likes Chilgo's daughter, and maybe that's why Suki acts unnaturally. He tries to propose to the girl for his son, but her mother declines the proposal and prefers to marry her to the son of a rice shop owner who will make her life well off. While Suki himself goes to Lieutenant Ryu to ask permission to join the hunters, he promises not to disappoint him because he knows the way in and out of the tiger. Lieutenant Ryu finally allows him to join and gifts him a rifle. Chilgo tells Gedeon not to involve Suki in the hunt because he is the only reason Manduk is alive. But Gedeon intentionally allows Suki to join in the hunt so that Manduk would be forced to join them, and after all, Suki joined of his own volition. Suki begins to enter the jungle to show the way to the hunters and the Japanese soldiers. They are divided into two groups, in which the first group is the hunters assigned to wait for the tiger to come, while the second group is the Japanese soldiers and the hunters assigned to lure the tiger out. Meanwhile, Manduk thinks Suki is home, but after he checks the house, it turns out Suki is not there. He then remembered Suki's words that he would join the hunters. Manduk immediately rushes off because he is very worried if his son really joined the hunters. The hunter starts making noise in the jungle so that the tiger is scared and runs towards the first group. However, it turns out that the tiger is too smart and runs in the opposite direction. He suddenly appears on a rock as if he is challenging them all. Everyone is silent when they see the big one-eyed tiger in front of them. The tiger immediately attacks them one by one, making them run scared to save themselves. Suki can only be silent when the tiger pounces on the hunters and Japanese soldiers quickly. He tries to remain silent and hides behind a tree. Unfortunately, the tiger can see him. Suki tries to open fire even though he has no experience of how to shoot properly, but the tiger manages to pounce on him first. A few moments later, Gedeon and the other hunters finally arrive. They are shocked because the tiger has tricked them and killed dozens of people. Gedeon tells his friends to go back to where they were before because the tiger must have fled there. But suddenly, someone grabs his leg and it turns out to be Suki, who is seriously injured after being pounced on by the tiger. Suki tells Gedeon that his chest is torn and he wants to meet his father. Gedeon decides to leave Suki alone to chase the tiger and promises to come back. The hunters find some traces of the tiger, but the tiger has managed to escape despite being injured. Chilgo begins to realize that he has not seen Suki, and he rushes to the previous place because he's worried about him. When they get there at night, a pack of wolves has gotten there first and is eating the corpses. Chilgo tries to find Suki, but he only finds his rifle. Gedeon keeps silent about what happened to Suki and says that Suki's body must have been taken by a pack of wolves. He tells his friends to go home because the snow was about to fall, which could kill them all. Chilgo is furious and blames Gedeon for what happened to Suki. He keeps beating Gedeon until Manduk comes to stop their fight and asks where his son is. It turns out that a pack of wolves brought Suki's body to their nest. When the wolves begin to eat Suki's dying body, suddenly the one-eyed tiger comes and makes the pack of wolves leave the nest. Unexpectedly, the tiger protects Suki's body from the wolves, and he sits next to Suki to look after him. After returning home in despair after not being able to find his son, the tiger suddenly comes to him to hand over Suki's body. Manduk immediately remembers something when he sees the tiger's eyes. He realizes that the animal is the tiger he had let live after he had killed his mother several years ago. When Gedeon was about to kill the tiger cubs, Manduk forbade him and let them live. Then Manduk took them to a small cave as their nest, and he always came to the cave to feed them small prey like birds. Maybe that's why the tiger delivered Suki's body to him, and he returned Manduk's kindness even though it was Manduk himself who had killed his mother. Manduk hugs Suki's body one last time because now he has no one in his life. After several unsuccessful attempts to capture the tiger, Gedeon asks Major Naruto for help to send an artillery unit with him. He has a crazy plan to blow up the jungle and lure the tiger out. Naruto will do anything to get the tiger's skin, and he is willing to comply with Gedeon's request. On the next day, Japanese troops are deployed to blow up the jungle and lure the tiger they are hunting for. Not only that, they also brutally kill and shoot other animals. After learning that the jungle where he lives is being destroyed by greedy humans, the tiger finally emerges from its nest in a rage. The thick smoke resulting from the explosion makes the Japanese soldiers unable to see the tiger's arrival. The tiger mercilessly pounces on the soldiers one by one, causing them to disorganize. But on the other hand, Gyeong is very happy because his plan worked perfectly. When the tiger is off guard and doesn't notice his presence, Gyeong fires a shot that hits the tiger in the face. The tiger is finally helpless, and the other hunters take advantage of the situation to tie him up. Gyeong thinks that he has caught it, but suddenly the tiger goes berserk and pounces on some hunters, including Gyeong himself. The tiger pounces on Gyeong blindly, and his revenge against the person who had killed his family is finally avenged. After all the massacres that happened, Major Naruto orders his soldiers to camp in the jungle and continue the hunt. Meanwhile, Manduk is preparing to burn his house and Suki's body. Suddenly, he hears the sound of a tiger from outside. The tiger comes to meet him as if he wants to talk about everything. Manduk feels he can understand the tiger's feelings and tells the tiger that they have the same destiny, which is to lose their family. The tiger then leaves Manduk after complaining about his condition. After burning his house and Suki's body, Manduk decides to go to a cave at the top of Yuri Mountain where the tiger's nest is. He wants to end the dispute with him and also stop the crazy hunting that the hunters are doing. Japanese soldiers and hunters also begin to move towards the top of the mountain even though it is snowing. Before they make it to the top of the mountain, Manduk has already arrived there first and meets with the tiger. He challenges the tiger to a final duel to end the grudge between them. Chilgo, who has just arrived at the peak, is surprised and can't do anything while he sees Manduk fighting the tiger. Even though the tiger is injured, Manduk chooses to put down his rifle and tells him to end it all. The tiger pounces on Manduk, causing them both to fall into a ravine and die together. The story between an old hunter and the one-eyed tiger has finally come to an end. They have the same destiny, and then the snow buries their bodies. Chilgo hides the death of the tiger by telling Naruto that the tiger disappeared because he could turn into a god. The Japanese soldiers finally have to return home disappointed after failing to find the tiger.